Great to see our next guest because he plays a character on Mr. Young that I think is probably fairly close to what I was actually like in high school, and I'm sure he gets that. He gets that all the time.
Still that guy.
What are you talking about?
Come on, when you see the clip, you'll know what I mean. Gig Morton, you've met him on our show before. Plays Derby in Mr. Young, which you can see on YTV. Gig, how are you?
I'm great.
How often do you hear that from people where they equate characters on Mr. Young with sort of their archetype or who they were when they were in school?
Oh, all the time, because they love to tell me about their life, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I love to play pranks on people, and I'm like, yeah.
So how close is Derby to Gig and Gig to Derby?
I would say like with every like the way I think is pretty much similar to Derby. I'm very quiet in real life, but I like to make jokes like Derby does, and like I'll be talking and people will be like, how'd you get to that from what we were actually talking about? And I'm like, I don't know.
You are like Michael Eckford. It's true. Now we're going to look at a clip. Maybe you can set this one up for us because I think it kind of illustrates your character and what he's all about.
Yeah. So Derby's trying to. He tries to win over. He wants to become like the student body president. He wants to be in charge for some. I think has something to do with Adam. Adam's always trying to win Echo's heart, right?
Yeah.
And so he comes up with this idea that he could become a superhero, and the superhero could be like sort of like a ad campaign for making Derby to be voted for. So he makes these posters and stuff, and it says Snake Man, right? And he came up with his own superhero. So he's trying to he gets the wrong impression from Adam.
Insight not only into the show, but I think into his mind as well. Here it is.
Derby, what would you say if I told you you could have newfound power?
Oh, like Spider-Man? Except, let's have me bitten by a radioactive snake so I can slither around and eat things whole. You know how I hate to chew.
Not superpowers. I meant school-based quasi-governmental powers.
Huh?
You could run for student council.
Great idea! It's the perfect cover. As mild-mannered student body treasurer Seth Sawyer, no one would know my true identity. Snake Man.
Derby, I didn't mean...
I'll need a secret lair. The Snake Pit. You don't use your classroom for anything, right?
Derby, I'm not trying to give you a secret identity.
Uh-oh. My snaky sense is tingling. I must now slither off into the night.
And you and Brendan, who you were in that scene with Brendan, of course, Mr. Young, he is the teacher, the friend of Gig, of Derby. I didn't realize, you guys knew each other before you started working on the show together.
Yeah. We've always seen each other at auditions, and we have the same agent, so we've seen each other at parties and things like that. And like I knew Brendan lived in Edmonton, and every time he comes and visits, when he used to come visit Vancouver, we'd go see like a play or something.
Were you
like
guys
that.
up for the same role when you tried out for Mr. Young?
Yeah, we were up for the same role.
Really?
Yeah, I got up to like the top 10 for Adam Young, and then they're like, we still haven't found Adam Young yet, but we're not going to go further with you, but we're going to try you out for the best friend.
So how fun is it for you two to work together?
It's fantastic. We just get to joke. Like my job is to joke around with people.
Yeah. Well, you guys do such a good job on the show because there's all kind of genres you mix into it. There's everything from slapstick to drama to, I mean, it seems like as an actor and as someone who enjoys and wants to have fun at their job, that's a pretty enthusiastic atmosphere to work in.
Yeah.
As you go along. Do you have a favorite episode or thing that you guys have done yet? I'm sure that's the worst question. When people ask us favorite things, it drives me nuts.
Let's talk about shoving that sandwich in your mouth. Is that favorite, non-favorite?
I would say I like to do all the physical comedy things. That is my favorite part of it. Yeah. Like when people ask me what my favorite episode is, I'm just like, it's all one giant episode.
Right.
It's all one
slipping, sliding, falling, running, hitting.
Yeah.
So how many takes did you have to do that? Because I would die.
That was a long time ago for me, but I would say probably about 3 or 4.
Not too bad.
But every time it's like I'm trying to figure out a funnier way to shove it in my mouth. But just shoving it in my mouth is funny anyway.
I'm gonna do it different this time just to try and...
Is having a theater background like you do to doing a show like Mr. Young, because as Mike said, there is the drama, there is the slapstick, there's physical comedy. How important is the theater?
It's good because it's even when you don't have an audience there, like we have a live audience on Fridays.
Yeah.
And even if we don't have a live audience there, we have to make it as big as if we did.
Yeah.
And having, for me, improv background and theater background, it's good because I can simulate their response.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and what a luxury to be able to, do that. You guys do 26 episode seasons.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of taping season 3 right now,
Yes,
right?
yes.
How does the live audience thing work? Because people can come. You never hear about this in Canada ever.
But people can just come and watch you guys on
it's free.
Fridays?
Yeah, it's free. It's on Fridays. There's one this Friday, then we have a week off, then I think there's about 4 in a row after that. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to go to.
Yeah.
And it's great for like all families, like the whole family. And parents come to me at the end of the show and they say, I actually laughed the whole time.
They're
and
sold, yeah.
It's a funny show.
Well, it reminds me of Gilligan's Island and The Monkees
Yeah.
and, all these kind of situational comedies that are aimed at younger, but there is something and there's a level of humor that kind of works for adults as well.
yeah.
How has it been since you guys have been picked up on Disney? You guys are now taping season 3, so people are familiar with you as actors
Yeah.
and fans of the show. So how fun is it to have that type of audience now that the show's gotten so huge?
It's fantastic. And when people come to me like in real life and on the internet and they're like, oh, I know who you are. I love your character. I'm like, yeah, no, you don't know who I am.
Yeah,
Because I'm from a sort of smaller town. I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense to me.
Have you guys started traveling and doing like publicity stuff?
Yeah,
and-
we went to Toronto recently. We did a meet and greet in a mall there, and I was just amazed about how many people knew who we were.
That's got to be
great.
pretty cool. I mean, just the sensation to know that you're doing this stuff, and you guys, when you do it, I mean, obviously you have a live audience every
Yeah.
now and then, so it gives you some feedback. But to get that feedback from people, outside to show that your work is being sort of seen and consumed by people,
Yeah.
that's got to be pretty gratifying.
Yeah, it feels good.
Did people scream? Like girls?
Mike, you
Yes, every once in a while someone screams.
Just yeah. It's a little more awkward when a grown man in a suit.
I've had that, but
And scene. If you want to check out Mr. Young, as we mentioned, they have live tapings. The best thing to do is to go to the Facebook page. They've got one this Friday, then they take a bit of a break. So go and make sure, but you can be a part of the studio audience. Tons of fun for the whole family. And also you can check out Mr. Young on YTV as well.
Yeah, great experience. If you're a fan of the show or if your kids just love humor, go out and check it out.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Gig.
man.
Thanks
Always
to
a pleasure.
see you.
We're going to take a break.